Okay, it's July 6th and I'm on the Mount Thompson Rim Trail. And I love this trail. It's one of my favorite hikes in the Creston Valley. So I'm excited to show you what it's all about. So this trail is 7.4 kilometers round trip, to be exact, from the towers at the parking lot to the other tower. So on a clear day, you can see the Rockies to the east of me here. Oh, I love the clouds today. They're so cool. Mount Thompson is in the Purcell range here. And now to the west of me, you can see the Selkirk range. And then the beautiful Creston Valley lies in between these two ranges. This week, 6 days ago, a young man in his mid-20s decided to go on his kayak and camp along the Kootenay River in my town of Creston, British Columbia. And that morning, Saturday morning, he was walking by on the bank of the river at 6 in the morning, and out of nowhere, a sow grizzly charged him and mauled him. And he said he knew that his head was in the sow's mouth and he could hear crunching. And he sustained a fractured mandible and zygomatic arch on his left side. And that means his jaw and his cheekbone were fractured. And also his inner and outer ear were separated. So he's had a few surgeries to repair all that, and right now his jaw is wired shut. But after, miraculously, the bear left him and he was able to call 911, and they said, well, if you need a helicopter, it's going to take us 2 to 3 hours to get there. But if you can paddle yourself to the Kootenay, to the ferry landing, then we can be there in like 20 minutes. So that's what he did. He paddled himself about 2 kilometers to the ferry landing. And this has really hit home for me because I know this young man. He goes to my church, and it has really shook me up. Him and his family are avid backpackers and know the wilderness. He had bear spray in his tent. Unfortunately, he left it in there. But he's a good guy, and why this happened to him brings me to the question of course, why do bad things happen to good people? That's the age-old question, I guess. I read an article that a wise rabbi wrote, and he said, if we knew why good people suffered, or anybody suffered with pain, we would become insensitive to their pain. And I think that's a valid point. If you walked into a hospital and heard a woman screaming, and you said, what is going on with that woman? Can you help her? Give her some pain medicine. And they say, oh, she's having a baby. Then immediately you realize, oh, okay, that's the reason she's screaming. It's because she's having a baby. And that diminishes it. Somehow, when we know the reason why things happen, we don't have a burning desire to help that person. So maybe Johann forgot to brush his teeth that morning, and that's why he was mauled by a bear. And then we say, oh, okay, well, that's the reason that happened to Johann. And then our sympathies fall away. If we could make sense of innocent people suffering, if we could rationalize tragedy, then we could live with it. We would be able to hear the cry of sweet children in pain and not be horrified. We would tolerate broken hearts and shattered lives, for we would be able to neatly explain them away. Our question would be answered, and we could move on. But as long as the pain of innocence remains a burning question, we are bothered by its existence. And as long as we can't explain pain, we must alleviate it. If innocent people's suffering does not fit into our worldview, we must eradicate it. Rather than justifying their pain, we need to get rid of it. ask the question, why do bad things happen to good people? But there's an even bigger issue out there, that I believe that there are two types of people. One who believe in God and the others that don't. And no matter what side you take, at some point you are going to have to believe your beliefs in faith. So I believe that there is a big, omnipotent, all-powerful God out there, and even though he hasn't made himself, I mean, I haven't seen him, but you believe that there is no God and that this world started from nothing or a big bang or whatever, that takes faith too. So I don't condemn you or judge you for the way you believe, because God cannot be argued into existence. He must be experienced. And so if you haven't experienced him, then of course you won't know him. But for those of you that don't believe in God, I have some questions that I'd like you to ponder. Let's say that you're on your deathbed and you have accomplished so many great things in this life. You've done marvelous for yourself, acquired all kinds of riches, whatever. But you do die, as does everybody. And everybody that knew you died. So everybody knew about your great experiences and great accolades. They're no longer around. What really did your life mean? Like, what does existence mean if you die, if you eventually die? What is the point of living? That's what I would want to know, especially in this crazy world where there's so much evil. Also, I would ask the question, where does morality come from? I know lots of people that don't believe in God, that are good people, beautiful people, have such a kind and generous and big heart and do what is right. And where does that come from? Because there is also evil. There are evil people who do horrible things. So where does that all stem from? And so with this belief in God, I am made aware of a bigger picture. There is a battle going on between good and evil. God could zap and destroy everything and everyone that is evil. But then people would worship him out of fear, thinking, oh, am I going to be next? Did I do something wrong? Is God just going to do away with me? So because God is a loving God, he lets people make choices. And this I know, that no matter what happens, good or bad to a person, when he calls on God to be with him, there is a peace that one has and a trust, knowing that God is in control. If you let him be in control of your life, then no matter what happens to you, what trials come your way, what suffering you endure, when you have the comfort of knowing that God cares and that there is a better life to come, then it makes it tolerable. And in my profession, of course, I've seen where people have not coped well with what has happened to them. They turn to alcohol or drugs to mask their pain, and they'll harm other people because they don't know how to deal with the pain that's been done to them. But when we can call on God, there is such a source of strength there. So I don't know why God allows some people who believe in him to spend years in prison because of that belief. I don't know why I get to go to sleep in a nice, soft, comfy bed, and other people have to flee their country and have no bed to call their own, no place to lay their head. I don't know why God allows school children to experience a madman coming in and shooting at them in their schools and being traumatized for life, those that do survive. I don't know why young girls are allowed to be sold into sex slave to satisfy old men or any men. I don't know why children are molested. And I don't know why Johann was mauled by a bear, but this I do know, that one day God will put an end to it, and justice will be served. Vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. Thankfully there's a path beside the snowbank. That would not have been good because I'm almost at my destination. I guess I do have to walk on snow for a little ways. Oh well, I need the refreshing. It's pretty warm out. Well, yay, I made it. That is amazing. I haven't been here since I was a teenager, and I will not confess how long ago that was. Oh, so amazing. Why are people so nasty? Why do they have to wreck things? Now this is looking south into the United States. So that's Idaho. Over there, those canola fields are in Idaho. All right, so this is where I've walked. It didn't take that long, actually. It took me 2.5 hours, but that's because I was doing camera stuff and just enjoying my time. It would take probably 1.5 hours for most people. Well, this looks like a good place to eat my tofu and pickle sandwich. There's nothing like eating food in the great outdoors. My mom makes the best pickles. Nothing like homemade pickles. That was so good I should have brought 2 sandwiches. And now for dessert, some chili spiced mango. It is one of my most favorite things. Oh, so good. You get them from Trader Joe's. Just the best. All right, one thing about the Mount Thompson Trail, it's very windy up here always, and that keeps the mosquitoes away. But there are other critters instead, like flies. Gotten bit a few times by flies, but anyway, it's been wonderful. It is wonderful, and you got to bring your own water if you want to come up here, because there's nothing. They do have a campsite, a picnic table too. Look at that, the sun is shining right on the canola fields, or else they're just so bright it looks like the sun is just shining on them. What a gorgeous valley. You can see the Kootenai River snaking through the valley. I'm so blessed to live here. Amen. Ah, my hair is ridiculous. Anyway, I have one final thought, and that is, if you were planning a vacation to some exotic place for a month, and say it was an island with sandy beaches and you can swim in the ocean as much as you want and eat all the food that you want, wouldn't that make working less drudgery, less mundane if you had something to look forward to? Well, that's the same as it is for me, because I know that even if there's troubles in my life, struggles and trials, there is ultimately a better place coming, and that is what I look forward to, and that is what I cling to. There is a hope that burns within my heart, hope for the coming of the Lord. So if you agree with what I have said today, then give me a thumbs up. But if you have not agreed with what I have said, I have broad shoulders, and you can give me a thumbs down. It's okay, I understand. And I'd love to hear what kind of comments you have on this topic, so be sure and leave some comments. And of course, as always, you can write to me. I would love to hear from you. So until my next epic adventure, assalamu alaikum, shalom, peace.